My name's Charmaine Comrie, and it's a real privilege to be here today because basically I was a patient at one of the clinics in Germany, and it's thanks to the GcMAF, and also I'll talk about the diet as well, the reason why I think I'm alive today. So I got diagnosed with cancer stage 1. It was a rare cancer as well. So it was the anal cancer, basically, and I just think it's useful in terms of the background to me. I actually work within the National Health Service in the UK as a waiting time specialist, and all the way along my pathway in the NHS, they actually said, and they put it in writing, that it wasn't cancer. So I went along for my routine outpatient appointment on my own to be told that I actually did have cancer, and they got it wrong. So they were a little bit embarrassed at that stage. That was King's College Hospital in London. So you can imagine that whole experience that day. And that whole day they pushed me around for tests and effectively treated me like a piece of meat. But I was very, very fortunate that I had a very good doctor, and very unusual because she was my GP. She's a retired, sort of semi-retired GP now, and when I first moved to London, she was practicing healing, homeopathy and bush essences on the NHS. So she referred me to a magazine called What Doctors Don't Tell You, and the clinic was advertising that. And so basically she was like my advisor throughout the whole process. And she said to me, look, you need to find out about this clinic and you need to move ASAP, which I did. Why am I the lucky one? I had a lot of knowledge and intelligence because I worked in health, and I had a lot of good people around me advising me, which helped me to move quickly, because I think often patients just get lost or intimidated. And I would like to stress, even though I work in the NHS and have done for the last 13 years, I was completely intimidated by them as well. So I contacted the First Immune Clinic, so I got diagnosed on the 2nd of December 2014, and I was contacting them around the 15th of December, which was coming up to Christmas, so I was very, very anxious to start the treatment as soon as possible, and I did start it from home. I started doing the injections, and I got booked into a clinic at the beginning of January 2015. So I would like to say that I really was proactive, and I took this very, very seriously, and I followed the Swiss protocol, which effectively is no processed food, no sugar, and a high protein, low carb diet. And I would like to say that in that sense, I'm a great cook now, where before I was a bit of a takeaway queen. So what were my symptoms before I arrived at the clinic? Well, I knew something was wrong the whole of the year of 2014 because I was so tired. But I think, like a lot of people, I've got a very stressful job in the NHS, and I just thought I was overworking. But effectively, by the end of November, beginning of December 2014, I couldn't get out of bed anymore. So I couldn't get out of bed, I couldn't go to work, I could only walk for short periods of time, for about 10 minutes at a time, and I would have to sit down. And as I said, I did start the protocol from home before arriving at the clinic in January 2015. So after one week at the clinic, first of all, I'd like to say the clinic was fantastic and very reassuring. So as soon as I got there, the kindness and the compassion of the doctors and the nurses immediately put me at ease, and I just instinctively knew I was on the right track. But after 1 week, I could walk for 30 to 60 minutes a day. So we were encouraged at the clinic to exercise as much as possible. We were given dietary advice and the history of the food industry. I had high dosages of GcMAF daily. So I had 1 ml of the injection, I had 1 mil of the nebulizer, surgeries in the clinic, and then I was given extra suppositories to take at night. We were also given recipes as well, so really inspired to make very healthy food choices. But what I will say, and I think this is really important because I work in health as well, is very much at the start of the clinic it was, well, you need to take responsibility for this, you need to own this, if you don't follow the Swiss protocol, then the GcMAF is not going to be able to work properly in your body and really get the most successful outcome. So that was made very, very clear to me at the first meeting with the doctor. It also really, really helped that I had a fantastic apartment there because they had fantastic cooking facilities. And that was really important because you've got to own this, you've got to cook, you've got to learn how to cook for yourself. And I've had a very, very steep learning curve in all areas here. So the supplements I was taking the vitamin D, I was taking fish oil capsules, aspirin, colon cleanse. So a lot of this was all supplied by the clinic. So although I bought my own GcMAF, I didn't need to take any of that with me because it was all supplied in the clinic. So there was no worry about that or no stress on the finances because I knew that was all taken care of. And then also I had to check my blood sugar level testing twice a day for my ketone levels because it was the ketone diet that I was on. So what were the results? Well, I was very fortunate at the time. I had a very, very understanding employer. I was working for Barts in London at that time, largest trust in the country. So I actually went back to work at the beginning of March 2015. So you could actually say I went back to work within 2 months of attending the clinic, within 3 months of being diagnosed. So I went back 3 days a week as advised by my doctor. But then I went back to work 4 days a week from August 2015. And in August 2015, I came off the GcMAF because I didn't need it anymore because my immune system was stronger. What I would say is I still do a lot of preventative work on myself in terms of supplements, in terms of I'm very strict on my diet because why would I ever want to go back to where I was? Because clearly my life wasn't working. So it really didn't affect running my own business. So even my bank manager was amazed when, we went through my accounts and he said, you've done really, really well. And I explained what happened. And he said, well, it's not really had much of an effect on you. And I will say that my business has continued to grow and is currently expanding. And I've got a couple of business partners that want to invest in me. So what did I learn from the clinic? I learned how to cook, prepare, and get organised with meals, because organisation is key. You have to completely change your mind in terms of, where you go in the supermarket, what to avoid. I was totally ignorant about all of this. Take responsibility, because it's up to me. The GcMAF, like David was saying, if you just go to the clinic and you think, right, that's enough, it's not enough. You've got to take this very, very seriously, follow the Swiss protocol along with the GcMAF. But what I will say is it was definitely the GcMAF that kick-started my immune system, because I felt that I was taking smaller doses of GcMAF from home. I think it was about 0.25, but it was only when I hit the clinic and I had a real structured program and high levels of dosage did I really feel my physical body start to recover and really sort of kickstart me into action. Because as I said to you before, I could only walk for up to sort of 10 minutes at a time with having to sit down. I'd also like to say it was really, really quite life-affirming for me going over there, because it was good to be in a different environment for your mental health. Because we have a saying in health that your mind controls the body and not the other way around, which is why people can spiral down so quickly. So I found going abroad a positive, life-affirming experience to get out of my own environment and also take a good hard look at my life and think, how did I get here? What do I need to do? What do I need to change? I never want to go back to basically not being able to get out of bed in the morning. So currently I do horse riding 2 or 3 times a week. I swim as well 2 or 3 times a week. I went to the Olympic pool here yesterday and did 20 lengths. And I do a lot of walking as well. And I've always been an active person, so to get to the point where you can't get out of bed is pretty depressing. So because I had such a bad experience of the NHS, so I haven't had any tests done recently, but what I would say is the tests that I had when I was at the clinic, they tested me for how my blood was circulating around the system, and at the start the blood flow was flowing very, very slowly, but by the end of the 2-week period, the galaic GcMAF was basically circulating around the body very effectively, and also I could feel in my body if I got my diet wrong or I lapsed or had a bit too much sugar. I felt the impact on my body because my body would just simply feel heavy, I would feel tired, and the difference has been for me is improved mood, improved energy. Certainly I was probably for years, tired, lethargic, and I just thought, well, I'm getting older, or it's because I've got a stressful job. So I admit I do need to go back and do more tests, but I am very nervous of the NHS system because I don't want to be pushed. I was very much intimidated in being pushed down the route of chemotherapy. And for example, my diagnosis for cancer was actually written on drug company paper. And they really sort of poo-pooed what I was doing, and but if I'd relied on them, nothing would have happened. They actually phoned me up and said in the NHS, are you supposed to come in today for an appointment, because we don't actually know. And I said, well, you never sent out the letter, did you? So what I'm saying is I know it's worked because effectively I'm back to a normal life, and I think you can see the same thing and the same results with the numerous other patients as well. So I'm going to run through my typical diet. So breakfast, I use the NutriBullet. I have nuts, seeds, avocado, tomato, carrot, cucumber, lemon juice, pink salt, omelettes, red onions, tomatoes. Lunch, vegetable soup, salad. Dinner, sweet potato mash with vegetables, broccoli, which is known for its anti-cancer properties, red onion, garlic and kale, and herbal teas, so like white peony, which is known for anti-cancer properties, green tea, lemon and ginger infusion. So most of all, I'd like to say a big thank you to all the staff and doctors at First Immune. And I believe if it wasn't for GcMAF, I'm pretty confident I wouldn't be here speaking today. So I'm very grateful. I'd like to give a personal thanks to my doctor in the UK, Dr. Michelle Pierre, who advised me about First Immune and has given me untold support, and all my friends and family that supported me, including a fantastic level of support from work.